close again. Here it comes. Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we certainly are now, aren't we? Yes. All righty then. I think I can turn this on again. Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and share this on out. You know what else? I'm going to go like this and go over here. If my friends are still watching Red Pill, there. And hopefully they can get that little deal there. How's that sound? And we're going to post it onto my Facebook friends too. Welcome, friends. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful Friday night. Just a spectacular evening here over in Wisconsin. So we are live. How does that sound? We are live. Are live. Yes, we certainly are, as far as we can tell. Haven't checked the pulse lately, but we're running with it. There we go, and there you have it, friends. Now we're all shared out. Got to put it to my page, Truth Quest. Include original post for expediency purposes. Yes, that's what we do. And thank you so much. Red Pill had a great show about one of the guys from 9/11 Truth, one of the former guys. He's got his own deal going now. So that was very interesting. I still waiting for all that truth to come out. Wow, when's that going to come out? Hopefully very, very soon. Hello, Mud Rabbit. How you doing? I'm glad to see you here. And let me see here. Oh, we got 4 likes already. Fantastic. I'm going to be number 5. Aha, 5 is my lucky number. Grab your lucky number on the thumbs up. And thank you very much for doing that. Thank you so much. All righty then. I just saw Dark Brain over there on Twitch, so. And I think Deplora Laura's coming over too, possibly. So look for her. Hello, Catherine Weiss. How are you doing today? Very cool. All righty then. Yes, well, let's get this show kicked off in style, shall we? Doing one of those crazy things that all the kids are doing, that crazy screen share thing. Yeah, we're all getting hip to the screen sharing, aren't we now? Oh, yeah. All righty then. Let's see what we have in store for us today. Let's see here. Here is a very interesting picture, and it's a very serene picture of the surface of Mars, one of the many places on the planet Mars that has interesting features. This is an amazing picture. It looks so beautiful. It has the illusion that there's plants growing there. Now, they're saying that it's not really plants growing, it's just some kind of mineral seeping through the sand there. But whatever it is, it's gorgeous. Don't you think? What do you think about that? That's actually Mars. I mean, It looks so untouched, doesn't it? I love that picture of Mars. Hello, Laura. Yay, you found us. Oh, that's Deplora Laura. All right. Glad to see you. I'm glad that you found us. I did put a link in there. So hopefully we can get some people over here. I just think Red Pill's audience, they're the coolest people. I just love going on his show, calling in. Not every time, but, you know, when I got something to say. And it's always a fun time. You know, he's like a brother. He's like a brother. And I think he's like a brother to everybody. And that's the appeal that he has. He's like everybody's brother. But isn't this a gorgeous picture of Mars? Don't you think? Scattered bushes, yeah, it does look like that. It surely does. This picture always just totally fascinated me. I mean, it's one of the very fascinating pictures of Mars, and there are so many. And these are just the ones they're letting out too, you know, and the ones that aren't airbrushed, right? But all in all, it looks so, I mean, you wouldn't want someone to go walking through there and making footprints, you know? Yes, you didn't miss it this time, did you? I'm glad that you're here, Laura. That's awesome. Yeah, look at that picture. I mean, can you imagine seeing that live? I mean, it's probably different now because they have windstorms, dust storms. So these dunes might be a little different now, you know? It's constantly changing. You can tell there's, you know, some dark material here and some lighter material, and it's kind of interspersed. And I think the white is actually frozen water or snow. So this might be near the pole. Hello, Troy from Michigan. Hello there. We're waving to you from over here in Door County. So Michigan's not too far away. In fact, part of Michigan's attached to Wisconsin, northern part, right? I've been up there. The Yoopers are up there. So are you a Yooper or are you on the Mitten part of the state? That's cool. See, I think they should make mittens in Michigan, and they should look just like the state. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, you never caught it alive either? Well, congratulations. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, you know what? This might be a good time to put the old Zoom number in there. Let me see if I can find it here. They always print so small, you know, these numbers are so small. Hard to see. Copy. Getting good at that copying and pasting, I'm telling you. You know, I have to say, in my whole life, I was looking forward to the future. And I have to say, this is nothing like the future I imagined. I imagined a much cooler future, by the way. You know? Detroit, your brother's up in the UP. Okay, wow. UP, huh? Hi, Elvis. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Brother Billy lives in Marquette. Oh, there you go. Yeah. There you go. And there you have it. Did you know there's like a triangle of doom in Lake Michigan? It's like the Bermuda Triangle where lots of ships have gone down. Did you know that? You know what? I think I might have that psychologist. Oh, yeah? I dated a psychologist for 3 years. We spent a lot of time on the couch. Yeah, there you go. And there you have it. There's your dad joke for the day. The first one. Oh, your mom lost a friend in the Bermuda Triangle. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hello, Kelly George. Oh my. Oh, that's horrifying. I'm very sorry. But I saw this article the other day, and it was talking about a similar thing in Lake Michigan, and there's this triangle. It's not the same shape triangle. It's kind of like an elongated triangle. And if I can find it, I'll certainly put it up there. Although these little thumbnails are so darn small, it's so hard to see. But we'll get there. Maybe I won't find it. I probably won't find it. Well, maybe I could just look it up, maybe quicker. Going to Illinois. Your Vikings came to Michigan. Yeah? To get copper. Oh. So Michigan has copper. That's interesting. Wow. You know, copper is a really interesting metal. There are so many interesting things about copper. I used to work with copper. And let me see if I can find something along that line. See if I had any of my copper sprinklers on this confuser. I don't think I do. No. But yeah, they were beautiful. Oh my goodness. Flew his Cessna out of Perry Airport, headed to Nassau. We never saw him again. Oh my God. Oh, that's horrifying, Mud Rabbit. I'm very, very sorry. So maybe he'll come back someday and will have not aged. Or let's hope for something like that. Bronze Age. Yeah, but copper, you know, they say if you drink out of a copper cup, there's special like antibacterial, and I think they used to put a coin, I think a silver coin, like a silver dollar in milk to keep it from spoiling, right? Or was it copper? Yeah, copper. You know, the domes on the tops of some of these beautiful churches are made of copper. And the one I think in Minneapolis, I think it was the Basilica St. Mary. I think that's what it was. I might be wrong, but anyway, they put a new dome on it, and it was copper colored. It was copper colored, but they wanted it to patina, and they wanted it to turn kind of that green color, right? So it has that kind of look. And so, you know, I can't believe they did this, but what they did was they poured like hundreds of gallons of how do you say it? Liquid horse waste, horse pee, all over the dome, and then it patinaed, and I don't know, you know, hopefully it didn't leak. That's all I'm saying. Hopefully it didn't leak, and because that could be a mess. Yeah, a lot to copper don't corrode. Well, it does age. It patinas. It gets that kind of green, crusty stuff on it. You know, like the Statue of Liberty is. You know, at one point it was copper colored. Acid, yeah, the acid from the horse product, PP, yeah. So yeah, I thought that was like, wow, that's bizarre. That's just kind of bizarre, don't you think? Yeah, lots of bizarre stuff, I'm telling you. Yep, that's it. Lots of stuff, let me tell you. So I think we're done looking at this picture of, oh, you know what? I need to check the participants. And there's only one participant, and that's me, I think. Okay. Oxidation, yes. Yeah, and I used to make these copper sprinklers, and they're beautiful sprinklers. And you hook them to your hose, and they spin around, and they make these beautiful. That's like a water ballet, and depending on how you drill the holes, makes the different patterns, and it's self-propelled. The water pressure makes it turn. It's beautiful. And I even made some with stained glass elements within them. So when they spin around and the light catches them, they're just gorgeous. A torch turns copper to beautiful colors. Yes. Yep. I made a big copper sculpture that my folks ended up buying, and it's in their yard, and they have people come and take pictures by it. And it's in the shape of a sail. It's like copper tubing, but within the shape of the sail are stained glass sailboat and different pieces of glass that represent different elements like the air and the water. And it's pretty cool. A fun thing to do. Fun thing to do around here. So there you go. And there you have it. How do you like that? Feel free to call in if you want. Let me see. I'll drop it in here again. Hope it works. Hoping it works, because that would be good. I better start the little chat in here too. Hello. There. Nice little message for the chat people. I'm wondering if anyone in the audience who got the time machine, if you've had any luck traveling into the future with the time machine, and any kind of comments you might have about that. Like when you went into the future, did people miss you? Yeah, maybe they did. Earth, Wind, and Fire. You have an 1850 stained glass window in front of you. My father used to do stained glass work. When I was a kid, he had a kiln, and you like melt the glass. It's very cool. And my mom designed one of the windows that he made. Someone had to make a custom window, and so my mom designed it. My dad made it. It was like so cool to see my folks working on a collaborative thing like that. You don't have a time machine, but you're traveling well into the future. Yes, aren't we? We're all we're going like a minute at a time, right? Like I see the future. It's coming. It's coming here. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's here. It's gone. Now it's past. Some other comedian did that, so I'm kind of borrowing from him. I think it was Carlin. I can't remember, but somebody else did that. Just in honor of them. You've been carrying it around for 40 years? Wow, you should put it down for a while, man. That's going to be tiring. Maybe you should put it down for a while. I know you mean like when you move and stuff. Well, so is it in your house, or just kind of laying in the corner waiting for a home? Where we go one, we go all. Yes, we do. We certainly do. Where we go one, we certainly do go all. And I think that is such a unifying cry, a kind of a brotherhood call to all the other people who want to be free and respect each other no matter what your background or anything, right? World patriots. I love that. And I think Space Shot 76 was the one that came up with that. He called his audience world patriots because they're from all over the world. And I love that, world patriots, because everybody is a patriot of their own country. And every country has great things about it. Every country has things they've learned from, and everyone progresses and gets better and better. Hopefully it gets better and better. We've seen it get worse. Say I was starting to work on a possible new T-shirt design. What do you think about this? And I'm a little hesitant, but let me just get your opinion on this. Okay. Well, what do you think about this on a T-shirt? And I'm wondering, you know, could they like take away my store because of this? What do you think? Do you think people will get it? Do you think it's too obvious? Do you think I'll get deplatformed? What do you think of that? Buck Joe Fiden. You think that's cool or not? I don't know. What do you think? Is that too much? Or should I just do Let's Go Brandon? No shot for me. Hell no. I'm with you, Troy. I like my DNA the way it is. Thank you very much. I saw a very disturbing video today. Stu Peters, I think. Yeah, watch that guy. Let's Go Brandon. Do both. Unless the company is run by some, liberal, then they might like take it down. I don't want that to happen. So I don't know. I'm a little hesitant. I was going to put this up in my shop so I could talk about it during the show, but now I'm kind of hesitant. I need you guys' advice. I don't want to get deplatformed on there. Let's Go Brandon. Only woke people will get it with the Let's Go Brandon one. Yeah, that is a little bit, less dangerous, I would think. Do both. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But here's one of my other shirts that I really like. And we've got someone in the audience that got this just recently. And you'll never guess who. Meet the Greys. Of course, it's a play on Meet the Beatles. And it's the Greys in the same kind of configuration as the Beatles. And the first album by Andromeda's phenomenal pop combo. There you go. Celestial Records. How do you like that? So you want to show your support for the channel? Get yourself a T-shirt like that. Maybe I'll do the Buck Joe Fiden or Juck Bo Fiden. Something like that too. I don't know. I was trying to play around with it a little bit, but it does kind of sound bad. I mean, yeah. Play it safe then. You love your shirt, Mud Rabbit? Awesome. Yeah, it really turned out good. And they have a process where they print it right onto the T-shirt. So it's not something that they're ironing onto it. They actually print it right onto the shirt. So it's pretty cool. In fact, when I was looking at starting a T-shirt company, I was looking at one of those. I think they call it a sublimation printer. I think they call that. Luck Bo Riding. There you go. Yeah. maybe a whole bunch of them in a row, like you're saying it over and over again, right? Like a tongue twister. See if you can say them all without saying the actual one. Could be like some kind of new thing that people do. Something like that. Yeah. And so, you know, if you're wondering why very inexpensive treatments aren't being recommended, well, this might be why. There it is. Yeah. The problem with natural immunity is it's free. Nobody can make a buck on it. See? They don't want you to get better. Not very quickly and not cheaply. You know, it used to be illegal to profit from healthcare, from the healthcare business. That all changed in 1972 when Tricky Dicky Richard Nixon changed the law, changed it to now healthcare companies, companies that deal with your health can now make a profit. And that's why we got $1,000 pills, which can be purchased in other countries for pennies. So that's a lovely thing if you're making pills. But I say pills cause ills. Every time you take a pill, sometimes it causes something else, you know? That's my opinion. It's not medical advice for sure. It's just something that it's anecdotal. Anecdotal for sure. For sure. It's about time doctors and lawyers were allowed to advertise too. I don't know if you want doctors to advertise. You know, I used to work at Hasbro. And one thing that you have to understand is when a company brings a product to market, you can either, you know, have an advertising budget or not to advertise it, right? Well, the minute you start to advertise, like at Hasbro, if say we had a product that went through costing, okay, it's going to cost, you know, $3.50 to produce this. We can sell it to the retailer for $8 and they can double it and make it 16 and we'll make a profit. But now marketing wants to do a bunch of TV, so we have to add that into the budget. So the price of whatever you're advertising, and this is an always kind of a thing, the price goes up because you have to pay for the advertising. So if you're seeing it advertised, the price you're paying for that, okay? So that's the thing, you know, I learned in the toy business. I'm just extrapolating. If it's like that everywhere else, it is. But yeah, you're paying for it. So you don't want, now in Canada, they outlawed, you can't advertise drugs, or at least they used to be that way. Maybe they changed it, but years ago, I remember it was something that they were proud of, and that's why they had lower prices, lower drug prices. Imagine that, lower drug prices because they outlawed advertising for drugs, just like they do now for cigarettes and alcohol. They used to advertise that stuff all the time, you know. So that's why drugs are so expensive. They need to stop advertising the drugs because people people are so open to suggestions. They'll hear a commercial and they'll go, oh, I think I have that. I need to go to my doctor and ask for that. Whatever it is. And then they have some other thing that pops up, which is like something that drug that they just took caused. It's kind of like, here's the thing. I remember this story. It was from several years ago. They found this shipwreck, and it was from hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And it was a miraculous find because in the shipwreck, they found an airtight container. And in that airtight container was like a medical kit, like a doctor's medical kit. And it had all kinds of stuff in there, including a jar of pills. And they took the pills and they studied the pills and the clay in the outer part of the pill and what's inside the pill. And this was from hundreds of years ago. They found that everything in that pill is identical to some of the same kind of pills they're making today. So what does that tell you? Yeah, makes you kind of wonder, doesn't it? It's all to sell the pill. Now they're advertising the pill, so the price of the pill goes up because you got to pay for the advertising. And it's like howdy, Mr. Dennison, and everybody else that I didn't catch. If you came in here, we got 13 people watching and 13 likes. Thank you very much. Everyone liked it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. We got some pictures here that I want to show you that are pretty miraculous. Miraculous. Before I show you the miraculous, I want to show you one of my favorite memes, okay? I like making memes. And, I made this meme a long time ago. And I remember when I made it, I felt like I had to get it out right away because I felt like the subject matter wasn't going to be around long enough for it to be a viable meme. But thankfully, this idiotic show is still on the air, so I can still use the meme. So that's the only good thing about the show being on the air. There you go. We've rebranded our show with a brand new name that reflects the size of our remaining audience, the few. That's right, the few. That's the size of their remaining audience. Yes, there are more people on stage than there are watching it, all right? Yeah. 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Yes, that's Terry Hopper. Wasn't that the Munsters? Or was that the Addams Family? I think it was the Addams Family. Yes, the deep state's been here for centuries. Yes, they've been plotting generations. But now we're on to them. So nothing's going to happen. We've already won. You can't kill an idea. Looks like a drag review. Yeah. It probably is, if the truth be known. Whoopi is a commie. Hey, I think that sounds like a country western song coming on there. Whoopi is a commie. Good one, Troy. That's your song. You need to work that up into a song now. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I used to think she was good in Star Trek, Next Generation. And then my opinion of her has gone downhill ever since then. She should have stuck with the Star Trek thing. Yeah, the Munsters were cool. They could only shoot the Munsters for a short period of time because his mask would fall off all the time. So they only had a few minutes, and the rest of the cast had to be like ready all the time. Sing it. I don't know. It's your song, man. Whoopi is a commie. She isn't like your mommy. She's a commie. I don't know. However you want to do it. I used to love Whoopi too. Yeah. She was great in that Star Trek, Next Generation. But yeah. Fame can do weird things to people. You know that? Yes. So there you go. That's one of my favorite memes. So yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of that meme. So there you go. And there you have it. The Few. Yes. I'm really glad that show's still on. I mean, nobody's watching it, right? Nobody's watching it. They probably have a whole audience full of androids. That's the next thing they're going to use androids for. It's for, Biden rallies. Oh, he's got a bunch of robots. Wow. And illegals. Oh, they're stealing the chairs and the circles. The Afghans are running off with the chairs and the circles. Not funny. No, it's a dangerous thing that's happening, folks. So be safe. If they're busing these people into your community, be careful. I mean, be extra watchful of your kids and everything, because these people are connected to the cartels. That's who sent them here. That's who they owe money to. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to do things that the cartel people want them to do, which aren't good things. No. So, yeah. We're all one, but it's just not fair to the people waiting in line and doing the things that they need to do to come in legally. It's a slap in the face to all those people. And when you give someone something, it's not like you're earning it. It's not as valued. So I think this whole open borders thing is a tragic, huge, gigantic, big mistake in every kind of way you can imagine. So that's what I'm thinking. And here's an interesting picture. I think I've shown this before, but it bears repeating, because a lot of people still do not believe that we made it to the moon. But we did make it to the moon. Find it. Where did it go? Where did it go? All right, I guess I gotta find it this other way. All righty then. Build the wall. Yes. Build the wall. Impeach Biden. Exactly. That needs to happen. I mean, can you believe the double, triple standards they got? Okay, now here is every landing site on the moon that NASA made, okay? Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17. These are the ones that they publicly admit to, okay? And so these are things that you can see with a telescope. So when people say we didn't go to the moon, well, you know what? You can go there and you can see these little tracks and all the landers. They're there if you have a good enough telescope. So we definitely were in the moon. I wish people would just stop saying that. But I can see why they say it, because when you take a look around, everything, practically everything, has been a lie. But not everything has been a lie. There's been an awful lot of lying, so much so that a lot of people think that everything is a lie, but I just don't think everything was a lie. Yeah, Clint Eastwood is a great guy. Putting Joe Biden in charge of things was a big mistake. Oh, yeah. Yeah, huge mistake. Yeah, he can't even put a sentence together when it's printed right in front of him in 1 foot tall type font. He still can't get it. So yeah, it's just bizarre. Just bizarre. So there's the moon landings. If anyone is curious. Also, I think it was the China Space Agency that just got back some moon rocks, and some of them show that there was volcanic activity on the moon 2 billion years ago. Yeah. So that's interesting. So was there lava on the moon 2 billion years ago, or was there maybe a war and some laser fire melted the rock? Who knows? Who knows? We just don't know, do we? And I'm still, friends, I'm just still reeling from the information that Corey dropped about Mika's people. Mika is a human extraterrestrial whose planet is in our star cluster, our local star cluster. And they look like us, except, okay, so their heads are like more cylindrical. So they don't have like flat sides on the side of their heads like we have, kind of flat. They have more of a cylindrical skull, okay? But other than that, they look very human. And Corey has even, some artists have done renditions of these people, and they look very human. And so they live on this island planet, a planet of a bunch of islands. And it's just incredible. He said that their planet, like our planet, for thousands of years has been controlled by the Orion group, which is a combination of reptilians, tall grays, and insectoids that are AI. They serve an AI god. So they're filled with nanites. So what happened was, this is just incredible. I mean, maybe I'm repeating myself, but this is unbelievable stuff that now we don't know if this is true or not. This is what Corey has learned. So Mika told him this, that they defeated the reptilians and the insectoids and the tall grays. What happened was their rulers told them that the benevolent ETs came and freed their planet. And to give proof of this, they released all this high technology like anti-gravity, free energy, and something like the internet, but it beams it right into your head. But you need like a neural implant and nanites in your body, and it will like fix all your medical and take care of you and everything and make life better. But after a third of the population got chipped, they started mandating everybody get it. And Mika's people were conditioned by the Orion group for thousands of years through their religions to expect a savior to come and save them. And they kept waiting and waiting for the savior to come, and the technology kept expanding faster than their spirituality, and they were almost lost because this ruling group was putting the nanites into the food and the environment. But the tyrannical actions of the ruling group was so harsh that it snapped Mika's people out of the frequency that they've been trapped in for thousands of years. And all of a sudden, they were on a different frequency, and they were not feeding their emotions to these evil beings, their louche, through their emotional energy. So, and when they did this, when enough of them popped out, they starved these dark beings because they need this loosh to survive. They went into a hibernation mode, and only 1,000 of them tried to escape, and they were caught and fought, and they were easily beat. And then when they followed them into the tunnels and the caverns, and they cleaned them all out because they were in hibernation. Even the nanites were in a power save mode. So then, after they kind of cleaned up their own backyard, if you will, then a benevolent race of extraterrestrials that Corey calls the Zulu came to assist Mika's people. The Zulu are African looking, they're tall, they're very serene, and they're very spiritually and consciously evolved to a level like that you can't even believe. In fact, the Zulu were the first extraterrestrials in our entire local star cluster here that were doing interstellar trade, and they did it all through their consciousness. They called other people to them, and they traded with these other worlds. So they came to Mika's people, and they discovered that through the religions that the Orion group tricked them into entering into or designing, they had created 3 different hells on Mika's planet. 3 different hells. And the hells were created by their collective consciousness. And they told the Mika's people, look, we can enter these hells and we can save these souls, and we can heal them and re-enter them into your planet's life cycle. And they did. They got their permission to go in there. And so the implications of this are we create our own hell and heaven? Interesting. So we are that powerful through our collective consciousness to actually create actual hells and heavens? What? So the Zulu taught Mika's people about oneness, about like we're all one. And that really helped them a lot. And they're helping now to grow spiritually. And so yeah, very interesting. If this is true, the implications are incredible, and I can't stop thinking about it. It just freaks the heck out of me. And so I'm thinking, okay, so we should be thinking, when you think about hell, don't think of a bad place. Because apparently, when we pass on, whatever we believe, that's what we have in store for us. If you believe that you're going to go to heaven and you have an idea of this certain kind of heaven, that's the heaven you go to. So if this is true, it's just unbelievable. Oh, Terry Hopper says, I believe David Icke interviewed a gentleman by the name of Credo Matua, who discussed exactly this and the Zulu tribe. Really? Interesting. Interesting. And that's why Corey calls them the Zulus, because that's what they look like. They look like the Zulus. Hello, Abby. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting, Terry. Very interesting indeed. Yeah. Here's one that you might like. I like this one. There you go. There's a little truth bomb for you all. How do you like that? There you go. Looks official to me. I'll buy that for a nickel. Yes. You know what, friends? When I was a kid, we used to watch a show on TV, and I always liked watching the show. And they had something on that show that I always wished I had. You know, it'd be so cool to have that thing. And what is that thing I'm talking about that we all have now? That back in the 60s, it was like only on TV shows could you see something like this, or maybe at, prestigious universities. Oh, I gotta get that. Where is it? There it is. The Bat computer. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, this must be Maxwell Smart.
Yes, indeed.
It was the Bat phone was ringing, so I knew it was you. At how apropos.
How are you all doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I just posted a picture of Batman and Robin, so good thing that you called. Because I was just
The old one?
Yeah, the original, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now Burt Ward is my friend on Facebook, and I want to have him on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Adam West
That's
has
cool.
passed away. But see, they had something that I wished I had, and that was, what's happening here? Something's happening. Oh, I see what's happening. They had the Bat computer, right? So the Bat computer, they could figure out anything with the Bat computer. And I thought, you know what? We all have the Bat computer now. We all have Bat computers.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Something I always wanted as a kid, I got. And it doesn't seem as cool as it would have been back then. But there you go.
Right. Exactly. Cool.
Yeah. So use your Bat computers. We can solve every crime. We've got Bat computers, folks. Think about that. So what's new in your world? What's new in your world, Max?
Oh, I don't know, a few things. I noticed today on the show CBS Morning, they finally gave us the figures for how many people died from the pinprick.
Oh.
And it says there's 1,500 on average, 1,500 per day.
Wow.
So if you multiply that, that's 365 days in a year.
Mm-hmm.
You get 547,500. Okay, that's how many people that are unpricked. Okay, that's the ones that haven't had the
how many
pinprick.
How many?
547,500. Okay. So that's how many have died if they didn't get the pinprick. Now, remember, Dr. Oz on the same station is the one that said those that have been pinpricked had an average death rate from the pinprick of 2 per 100,000 per day. And I calculated the actual result for 365 million people.
Yeah.
Which is 5,110 people per day. That's based upon the figures that the mainstream media puts out of 70% that are pinpricked.
Wow. 5,000.
Okay.
5,000 a day.
5,110, yeah. And when you calculate that, you get the number of deaths that have from the people who have been just pinpricked is 1,865,000 150.
Wow.
And so when you compare the ones that have died just from getting the pinprick versus the ones that died that didn't get any pinprick,
Right.
it's 3.4 times as many people die after getting the pinprick than those that didn't get the pinprick.
3.4? That sounds like pi. Wow.
3.4088. Yes, 3.40.
3.14, isn't it?
Yeah.
3.14 something.
But almost 3.5 times as many people die
Wow.
from getting the pinprick than those that don't get anything.
Wow.
So how's that for? That's using their numbers. That's not.
Well, it sounds like a depopulation plan to me, and that's what it smelled like. That's what it smelled like from the beginning. It never smelled right to me. But you know, the one thing that I did listen to, and it was good to hear when Trump was president. He was saying, well, you know, we're not going to make it mandatory. And of course, that's the logical thing to do. But of course, now we have the Pino president name only, former vice president, the commander in thief, stole that from BCP. Thank you, BCP. Give him a follow. Commander in thief. I love that. Yeah.
He gets pretty worked up sometimes, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He almost can't talk sometimes. He gets so worked up over it.
Yeah, he calls them rat bastards and everything. Yeah, he gets into it.
He's definitely worked. He is definitely worked up.
Yeah.
I had something unusual happen. I don't know if I've ever heard of such thing in my life, but I sit in this garage and I've got the fan on and I got a bug zapper in here. And today, something very unusual happened, and it happened twice to me.
Yeah.
The bug zapper zapped a mosquito, and I felt it.
Oh, really?
If I were getting zapped.
You felt it, huh?
And it must have zapped, I don't know, 50 times today. But twice out of those 50 times, I actually felt as if I got zapped.
Wow.
So I called a couple people and said, well, what do you think that is? And they said, oh, maybe it's just the moist air. And then somehow, I said, yeah, but it should have done it to me all the time if that were the case.
Yeah.
So I wonder if those two particular mosquitoes maybe had bit me already. And in biting me somehow, we shared consciousness somehow.
Wow.
So when they got zapped, I felt it. I don't know. It's weird. If anybody has a better explanation, I'm all ears.
Wow, that's interesting.
But it, maybe nobody's ever had that situation, right?
Yeah. Weird.
I thought it was very interesting. Oh, by the way, I did go locate that paper from the Defense Intelligence Agency. I haven't read it all yet, but I can tell people how they can find it. This is a technical paper. It's 154 pages. It tells you what they learned from UFO crash debris.
Okay.
The summary. And it's the same thing that David Wilcock gave people. It's at www.ufoexplorations, and that's plural.com, and you go to the archive section, and click on that, and when you click on the archive section, you look for the one that says UFO debris Pentagon papers, and you click on that, and then underneath that section you have something like analysis test results or something like that, and you click on that, and then in the text there's two different places. It says to find the first part of the document, click here, or
Mm-hmm.
it's got underlying text in the. But there's a lot of interesting things they describe that's in there. Metamaterials, nitinol. Let's see, materials that have perfect absorption of light.
Uh-huh.
Materials in which light speed drops to zero.
Okay. Wow.
Materials of slow light. There's a lot of interesting things that they have in there. I'm just sharing it with people because I know there might be some that are really interested in digging into what they actually found from the debris.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So it's UFO debris.
I've downloaded it. I haven't been able to read it yet.
So it's UFOexplorations.com, archives, UFO debris, Pentagon Papers. All right. Is this from the 2004 study that they did? That this To the Stars Academy thing? That thing?
I don't know.
From the government at that time?
I didn't read thoroughly yet.
Oh, okay.
Kind of glossed over it, but I was trying to find it. I had other people try to help me find it, and one of them helped guide me to how to find the actual documents. Because I didn't want to lose it. I wanted to get it before it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, there's a lot of interesting things on that site, so I highly recommend people to check out that.
Okay.
It seems to have UFO information that I haven't seen anywhere else.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So it might be interesting to people that looking for new stuff that they've not read about. Or so, what's the topic of interest tonight, other than Batman and Robin?
Anything.
Anything, huh?
Yeah. We're talking about anything and everything, I guess. Let's see. I was going to bring up some other things. One of my favorite cases to talk about, but yeah, it's the California drones, the California drone case. I'm just endlessly fascinated with that. So
that's the one that had the software that's on the skin of the craft or something?
Yeah. So fascinating. It's so bizarre and so unlike anything, that we have.
That is truly an interesting case.
Yeah, and all the documentation that he released is quite something else. Now, of course, the debunkers, they're always out there, and they're paid by the CIA to debunk it because they don't want the truth out. If some big truth is coming out, they send the debunkers in and they do a number on it. They do a number on everybody, not only the information but the person too. So it's not a good look. Not a good look. So, yeah, but these things, they're super clear. That's the thing. The pictures are super clear. Now, most of the time, a UFO, you're not getting a clear picture because it's so far away, or it's, it's moving, or it's giving off some kind of energy field, which prevents it from getting a clear picture. So who knows what the real reason is, but for whatever reason, it's difficult to get a clear picture of UFO. But these things, they're super clear. And what's really fascinating too about them, well, everything's fascinating about them, is that researchers have found is this it? Patents. And now these things were seen in California. They call them the California drones. So, and they were moving around like dragonflies. They call them the dragonfly drones.
Right.
California dragonfly drones. This was way before drones, okay? So these things, and they were seen a lot of times above power lines. So some very smart researcher went in, I can't remember who it was. They went into the patent office in California, apparently, and they found some patents applied for by California power companies for a cloaked, invisible drone that would fly above the power lines to detect any kind of break in the lines, so they could alert the people where to go to fix it exactly.
Right.
And that these patents were applied for and granted, and but what is interesting is, so these things are supposed to be invisible. That's one thing that they say in the patent, is they're supposed to be invisible. But what happened? What Isaac, who came forward, that's not his real name, but he calls himself Isaac. He released all these documentations. He was talking about this because he worked at the Palo Alto Carrot Laboratory, where they were reverse engineering this stuff. And so yeah, he said that sometimes the cloaking can be disrupted. Like if someone's using a microwave or something in a nearby, or if there's some kind of microwave, maybe even cell phone towers, because this was in the 90s when that was first starting to pop up. So maybe that was interfering. Something was interfering and making these things visible. And they were able to catch these really crystal clear pictures. Yeah. And it just doesn't seem like there would be room for a person to even be on these things, you know? It's rather large, but it's just there's no real area for someone to really be, I don't think.
Well, I discovered that even, this is very common nowadays, but that our utility companies right now have drones that go around and look for natural gas leaks.
Oh yeah?
And they come out like, they vary between 2 and 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I know because I was out at a friend's house and heard this thing outside the house. It just makes a low hum. We never were able to catch it, to see it. But it comes, like, most of the times it's Sunday, early morning hours of Sunday. That's through an area. But it's one of the ways they know there's a natural gas leak in the area. I always wondered how they detect that. You know, I figured, well, maybe somebody calls it in that they smell a gas leak or something. But there's sometimes they discover a gas leak that's way out in the middle of nowhere. It's because they send drones out. I guess an automated pass, you know. And so I'd love if someone could catch a picture of it. I'm still trying to catch a picture. I thought about setting up game cameras because it occurs quite frequently.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I've yet to catch a picture, but if I do, I'll let you know.
Okay.
But I think these aren't UFOs or anything. They're drones that are commissioned by utility companies. So you know if they have it and they're using them, that you know there are other covert drones that are moving around doing other things.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I've seen helicopters here. I think it's the Google Street Map thing or whatever it is. So here you can someone in the audience asked me to zoom in on this picture, and I did. I had to increase the size of it. Oh, you could see all that. Oh, I didn't know you could see that when I was doing that. So Operation Shutdown, he's interested in this too. So I was just trying to increase the what do you call it? The dots per inch, so I could zoom in better on it, on this California drone. And you can see some of the writing on the bottom of it here. It's pretty cool. So let me.
Sorry I didn't call in Wednesday. I had a little stomach bug.
That's okay. Austin called in and we had a good old time talking about the green children again.
He seems to know a lot about that.
Yeah, well, it's a several 100-page book. So, yeah, I'm playing with the adjustments here, and it's not a doctored film, not a doctored picture. It looks totally legit to me. Totally legit. But yeah, it's super clear, and it's got these spikes in the middle. Yeah, it's anti-gravity, and the way it works is phenomenal. It's just bizarre. You know, Isaac said they all had to like forget about what they learned in college and whatever the physicists, the mathematicians, and the engineers had to forget about everything they learned and try to learn everything all over again with this stuff because it was completely different. Completely different. So there's that. There's that. How do you like that? That was the name of that one. All righty then. Yeah, I got some.
Go
ahead.
I had kind of a breakthrough the other day. I was thinking about, with the 6 different quarks that make up, that they know about, right? There's up and down quarks, there's charmed and strange quarks, and then there's top and bottom quarks. And the up, the charmed, and the top quark all have a plus 2/3 charge, whereas the down, the strange, and the bottom quark all have a minus 1/3 charge.
Okay.
So they're very similar in that respect. Okay. The other quarks are bigger, substantially bigger than the up and the down quark. Now, scientists tell us that all of the universe that we can see right now is made of electrons, electron neutrinos, and then up and down quarks. So the question arises, what do all these quarks do, the other 4? And no one's been able to answer that I've ever seen. And if anybody has seen anything to the contrary, please speak up.
Okay.
But I was thinking about that. And I thought, we're taught that, there might be a dimensional shift coming, right? When we ascend.
Mm-hmm.
Will actually be in another dimension. And I thought about that for a minute, but it actually makes a lot of sense. That these things are here, we just are unable to observe them at our frequency. But as we go up the next level, it actually makes up the matter of the next level. It's like hyperspace. And hyperspace has got its own set of matter. But the matter, instead of made up of up and down quarks and electrons, is made up of muons, muon neutrinos, and then the next level uses charmed and strange quarks. And it's kind of analogous, all the matter instead of is made up of those things. Well, there's interesting implications of all that. It means there's another periodic table when we get to that level too.
Okay.
One based on, the properties of most chemical elements are related to the electron orbits, and more specifically to the valence electrons that are on the outermost orbit. Well, imagine the next level where instead of electrons, you have muons playing the same role. These things, all these elements will have dramatically different properties than what we're aware of the elements today.
Okay.
Which means we'll suddenly have available to us all kinds of new technologies we can't even imagine at the moment. So, and
Interesting.
then the next level above that would be another transition where all the matter may be called super hyperspace, for lack of a better word, where you now have the tau and the tau neutrino, and then all the nucleus is made up of top and bottom quarks. And again, you would have another periodic table. So I was getting a lot of thoughts of that. And what are the implications of that? And it's quite fascinating.
Yeah, that's interesting. That reminds me of something else I heard today. I heard this guy talking about how they've never been able to differentiate between electrons. They all look the same, right? And one person postulated, or one scientist postulated, maybe it's because there is only one electron. And maybe
other people could talk about that, yeah.
And maybe this electron's going back and forth in time. And everything, they look identical because it's the same one. That's an interesting thing to ponder too. I think, I'm
trying to remember, there's a paper, it's called EPR equals, what is the quantum entanglement designation? I should remember this paper. I read the darn paper. Basically, the paper is basically saying that quantum entanglement is the same thing as Suzuki action at a distance.
right.
And they conclude that there might be one electron in the universe.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
And they basically say that what we're seeing in the small scale is mirrored in the big scale.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically that there are micro black holes,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
in addition to the big black holes, of course, right? So,
I just posted a picture. They're talking about how these things might be powered. This is the anti-gravity unit. I just posted this at the Palo Alto, California Carrot Laboratory. They had this artifact. It was an alien engine, anti-gravity engine that they were learning from. And these pieces were like these pieces from the inside of the engine. And all these strange markings are all around this thing and on the inside and outside of these curved pieces. And when this thing was powered up, these things just fly into place. Like they're locked into place in midair. Like it's being held together by this magnetic field. And so very interesting. And it's all done through this printing. I'm not sure if it's printing or if it's impregnating with some certain type of metallic lettering, and the shapes of it do some certain things. It's very fascinating. But yeah, each glyph represents a unique sectors of interdimensional space-time. It's a multi-mode matter control networking device for guiding a network of drones by controlling anti-gravity propulsion systems, telemetry, cloaking, communications, and changing unique frequency channels of vibrations of space-time at any given unique location from intergalactic space. Wow. So the A1 artifact is a time machine technology that incorporates quantum entanglement of the drone network. Now, I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if that's really Isaac's words or if this is this other person here giving a possible explanation. But very interesting nonetheless. You know, this is from back in the 90s, so it's been around for quite a long time. And certain people forget about it. I'm not going to forget about it. It's just too interesting to me. Too interesting.
Oh, I heard an interesting piece of information about the Regeneron treatment.
Oh, yeah?
I had a buddy that his whole family came down with the variant.
Okay.
And so they, of course, none of them got the pinprick, and they're not going to. But they chose to get. They're here in Florida. They chose to get the Regeneron treatment, which is the monoclonal antibodies. And one of his family members has got cancer. And after taking the monoclonal antibodies, their cancer is going away.
Okay.
Not only is their cancer going away, but they had 2 or 3, what do they call those, warts on their fingers.
Yeah.
And the warts are all disappearing.
Okay.
So they haven't figured out what's going on, but they're fascinated by the fact that they went to their cancer specialist, and the cancer specialist says, "We don't know what's going on, but your cancer's gone away."
Mm-hmm.
So they wonder if it's related to the Regeneron.
Could be, of course.
Treatment.
Well, I've heard the same thing about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. They have, you know, amazing effects on other ailments, especially HCQ on rheumatoid arthritis. So, and so they're like miracle cures for lots of different things, and that's another thing. They're being suppressed. Reason why they're being suppressed.
Right, they don't want a lot of people taking these things because they discover this truth.
Yeah, we need a lot of honest people in business. So if you people out there in the audience, you're honest, let's displace some of these people here, okay? Let's go and switch them out.
Don't worry, their time is coming.
Yeah, I got the old favorite Apollo 20 patch up there now. Rutledge, Snyder, and Leonov.
Hey, have you ever asked Corey what the patches look like for the secret space program?
No, I haven't. I'm not sure if he's ever been asked that, but if I remember, I'll ask him.
There should be some kind of a distinct patch associated with what's the name of that part, the part that he was part of.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name. Not the Space Force.
I can't either.
Oh well.
Can't see.
You probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Someone out there probably has the words I'm looking for. I just can't. My brain's not quite working right today.
That's okay. Mine isn't either. Laura asks, have you ever researched David Adair? Yes. If not, you should. He's an amazing builder of things. And he was on Coast to Coast many times. Yes, he's a great guy. I've got a message into him. I have not heard from him back yet. I'll keep trying. David Adair.
Now, how do you locate all these people? I'm curious.
Well,
just go on our Facebook pages or something?
Sometimes that way, or other times, sometimes through mods. That's how I got Corey, is through some of the mods that handle his page, Facebook pages. So that was very cool.
Well, if you ever can figure out how to get a hold of David Wilcock, I'd be interested in that information, because I have a project I'd like to talk to him about, but I don't know how to reach him.
Well, if I have David Wilcock on, I'll have to upgrade all my services so I can stream longer. Because Yep. And remember now, if you got the time machine, Don't go too nuts on it, okay? Don't be doing it all the time. I'll feel guilty that you're wasting all your time traveling into the future when you should be enjoying the present. Because you know what? You got the past, which is in the past. You got the future is not here yet. The only time we can actually do anything is in the present. And you know why they call it the present? Because it all depends on how you open it, how you open the present. That's what's going to happen. So here we got the Apollo 20 patch. And man, Apollo 20, one of my faves. Going to keep talking about that one too.
Well, my model of time is like an onion. That they tell us that space-time is defined as a sequence of events,
Mm-hmm.
but they're discrete levels. They're like quantized. There's every element of what we consider our time all still exists. It's right here where we are. They're all on top of each other. And if we knew how to index them, then we could actually go to them. Any part of our past. It doesn't disappear. It's not like we're taught that when you left the past, then suddenly it's inaccessible. No, it's that event is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes out of mathematics of what's similar to the Mandelbrot set, the fractals.
Okay.
See, a fractal system is quantized. It's got some iterations that make it up, and the entire universe seems to be similar to the Mandelbrot set. It's got slightly different. Well, I found if you change the formula slightly for the Mandelbrot set, you end up with a fractal that encodes the golden ratio automatically into it. And what that means is that it might explain why life seems to follow and develop along a certain line every time.
Okay.
Not genetics, it develops that way because of the space-time it's in. And the consequence of this theory is that time is quantized. It has discrete points. And so I hypothesized that the increment of quote time of these different events is what I call the equivalent of the Planck length. The Planck's constant.
Okay.
It's equivalent of one Planck when light would travel in one.
Max Planck. Max Planck. Yeah, little tiny little measurement of
right
space.
And that's. But I'm trying to put it together. The implications are that our universe looks like a toroid, and that one end of the toroid is like a white hole instead of a black hole.
All right.
And information comes out of it, and it travels around the toroid until it eventually reaches the other end of the toroid, which is there's a black hole.
Okay.
And in that respect, there are people who put forward that that's what every atom actually looks like.
Yeah.
But so there's some similarities with some other existing theories.
Yeah.
And so this might explain why maybe you ever seen the show what's that with Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith? You know, they're they're out finding aliens, Men in Black.
Oh yeah.
Remember the one episode where they zoom back and you see aliens playing with marbles, and the marbles are actually like Earth and
Oh yeah.
or the solar system.
Yeah.
Where it's got the idea is this: is maybe or like a grain of sand in a bigger universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So quite interesting to think about, quite hard to prove.
Right. I got our favorite space girl up, Mona Lisa, and the picture I have up now is before they took these tubes off that are holding her mouth open. And so this is, and she wasn't dead, but she wasn't alive. She was somewhere in between. And
Now that's the wraith-like woman that they found on the backside of the moon.
Yep, in a triangle-shaped craft near that large cigar-shaped craft that they found.
Oh, I didn't know it was a different craft.
Yeah, it was a different craft, because the big craft that they came to, I mean, you've seen pictures of the Eiffel Tower, it's tiny next to it. Two little astronauts are not going to be able to climb up with that thing and make any kind of assessment.
It's 3 miles long.
Yeah, and it's probably about a quarter mile just to get up to the top of it to try to find your way in.
It's estimated to be 100 million years old too.
Yeah, they don't know how old it is, millions or billions, they don't know. But yeah, it's pretty incredible. And he also said that there were these little teeny beings inside of her, keeping her from dying. So I'm wondering if these tubes are something very needed, and they just took them off because they wanted to see what she looked like. But I think this might have been something critical.
What you just said reminds me of this video I took one time. There's these little USB based microscopes that you can buy, like on eBay.
All right.
They only cost about $10.
Okay.
They're quite interesting. I highly recommend. It's worth the $10 because one time I had a friend that she needed help. She couldn't find a babysitter. She asked if I could come and watch the kids. And I said, yeah, sure. Because we all get along great. Kids and I have a lot of fun. And well, I brought my laptop with me, and I had one of those USB microscope, and we had killed a fly, or thought we had killed a fly, and we put that microscope up against that fly, and you could see the fly wasn't completely dead, and it was kicking, and of course the kids were fascinated by this.
Mm-hmm.
What struck me is there were little tiny minuscule creatures running on the surface of that fly.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Like the fly had fleas,
Yes. Yep. Yep.
It was just incredible to see, and they loved the fact that they could see these hairs and whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
the fly and whatever, and they really got excited by that. They were doing everything,
Mm-hmm.
Just the most disgusting thing they did is look at the belly button. They wanted to see what was in the belly button.
Oh man.
And you don't want to know.
Okay. Yeah. Whoa.
The belly button's got collected all kinds of things from. But it's
Wow.
But you just reminded me of that when you're talking about the little creatures running around.
Yeah. So I wonder where that body is now, what kind of shape it's in now, you know. Apparently, the story goes that these ships, these wrecked ships and these battle scenes were left on the far side of the moon as a reminder to all of the people who have bases on the moon, who are usually warring with each other, but the Earth's moon is a special place. It's a peaceful place where no one fights. It's been agreed, and these hulks from past battles are kept there as a reminder of the dark past of this area. But now it's a peace zone, so that's kind of nice.
Well, I remember her being described as looking like the Wraith in Stargate Atlantis.
Okay.
And so I wouldn't exactly call her Mona Lisa, you know.
So what did she look like? I mean, was it?
Ghoulish looking, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know, very gaunt looking. You know, emaciated almost.
Okay. Wow. Yuck. So here's that ship, folks. Here's that ship. So here's the Eiffel Tower. Here's Queen Elizabeth ship. So here's the Eiffel Tower. Okay. It's taller than the Eiffel Tower. All right. So how are they going to get inside this thing and make any kind of, that's why I say, you know, this should be one of the first things that they declassify, because they could send, you know, the History Channel up there and they could do like a decade of shows about this craft, you know?
Right. Just exploring it. Yeah.
Inside and out and looking at everything. And I mean, it would be incredible. It would be the #1 show. I guarantee it. Man.
Yeah.
Just think where we could be if they would have told us about this. 1976, when they did this, maybe.
Right.
What if they said, you know, last minute, let's make it public. What the hell? Let's just do it. That would have been so cool. We would have advanced so far by now.
Right.
You know, and there wouldn't be all this other weird stuff going on.
Well, it has advanced. We're just not allowed to know that either.
Right. It just hasn't advantaged us.
It's quite maddening.
Yeah.
It's quite maddening.
Yeah, so they found that girl. She was in a little triangle craft near this, a much smaller craft. And they also found a head of another alien, which they brought back. But there was no footage of that other head. I don't know if they put it in a canister or something. I don't know. I
heard it was described, there was a male like being there that is very similar to what's depicted in one of the alien movies, that's sitting in a chair and it's gigantic.
Oh.
It's colossal in size. Maybe, I can't remember, maybe 30 feet tall or something.
Yeah.
The chair that it's sitting in.
Okay.
And it has strange shape. It's got to have like big protruding ribs.
So this was in the Rutledge footage?
Well, it's the footage of the big. It's supposedly they did go on board this ship.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
but they couldn't explore much.
No, how could they? I mean, it's too huge.
Because it's so huge that they couldn't go on board that for very long, and their air supply would run out. You know.
Yeah.
So they just had to say a few things. You know, obviously they were looking for wherever the bridge was, right?
Good luck. Yeah. Maybe it was a train. You know, who knows what it was, right? I'm not. You know, it's too big. I don't know, man. Maybe it has to be a ship. I don't know. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
It just freaks me out. This freaks me out. And they should make it public. I mean, we would.
How do we know that a Muamua wasn't very much similar to that thing?
Well, it was. Corey Good talked
Right.
about it.
I know, but
they actually
it's not
boarded
been made public.
Well, Corey made it public, and he was shown the film, and they actually took the film, and they said at some point we are going to release this film to the public. So they told him, we're showing you this. Now we're going to show this to the public when the time is right. When is the time going to be right? I say the time should be right now.
I didn't know he had film. I knew he had made a simulation of what was seen, but
yeah, but no, he was shown. He was shown. No, he was shown the film. He saw the film, so he was describing what he saw on this film because they filmed it, and they're going to release that to the public at some point. That's their plan. Of course, their plan also was to tell the people about UFOs, and they still haven't done that. And that was back in the 40s. Back in the 40s, they decided that. So, but disclosure happens through books and through people talking, through whistleblowers and through eyewitnesses. And it's happening all the time.
Well, all the stuff we're going through, it's all disclosure is going to be part of it. We're going through all this stuff. Think about it. One of the reasons we have the corruption we have is because anywhere you have intense secrecy, corruption can grow, unimpeded,
Mm-hmm.
and probably the secrecy of UFOs is one of the things where this corruption hit, and flourished.
Mm-hmm.
They want to keep this stuff to themselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What better way to control the populace than to have this technology and always keep people in the dark?
Right.
So it goes hand in hand. All these things that we're dealing with, even now, are because of secrecy run amok.
Mm-hmm.
There is a need for some secrecy, but it's just like our government. We should always have accountability structures in place, and we should always have transparency.
Mm-hmm.
And when there aren't anybody that is accountable, then you're asking for trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's in essence what's happened, and that's actually what's wrong with globalism. It's not like the idea is a bad one that that we should work globally on certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we will probably have a global government, but it won't be the same kind of government we have now, because it'll be one still accountable and transparent to the people. And the way they're doing it now, of course, nobody's accountable to any of us.
Right. Nothing ever happens.
And it's true. And they're not transparent at all, right? So
mm-hmm.
That's what makes it evil.
Right. Well, I want to be transparent. I'm transparent. I want to be so transparent. I'm going to show everyone this discovery that I made a while ago. Some of you might have seen it. It's a very important scientific discovery. And the question is about the Atacama being. Who is he? And the other question, where the heck did Beavis go? Hey, they're one and the same. Mystery solved. There you go. That's just for the people who haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
But look at that. Those knees, everything lines up. It lines up. Everything lines up. It's identical. You put hair on this guy, it's Beavis. So that's why we haven't seen Beavis lately. He dried up in the desert. There he is. Look at that guy. Poor guy. You should bury him properly. So there you go. Mystery solved. Yes. There you go. Oh, Austin says Apollo 14 moonwalkers got exhausted while walking up a modest slope on the side of a crater. Yeah. Thank you, Mud Rabbit, for putting my P.O. box on there. Yeah, if you want to write me a letter or postcard, you can send stuff off to there, and I'll get that. My little post office box, 711, P.O. Box 711, Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, 54235. Email hotgamesandpuzzlesllc@gmail.com. The Borg Bouncy Cube toy. Oh, you're talking about the Super Cube. Super Cube, the bouncing sensation. Super Cube, it's sweeping the nation. Everyone, both young and old, are going cube crazy. I am
I
told.
heard you talking about Awesome Possum on
Yeah,
the other day on Conspiracy Couch.
yeah.
So,
You want to
and now,
see?
is that something you have for sale at the books? Or?
No, not yet. No, not yet. Here's the deal. So where's the thing? Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is one of the books I'm working on. It's called The Awesome Possum. All right. And then the illustration's all done in this book, but I've changed his look now, and I got to redo it because this is this sketch of the new book I'm working on, and that's his new look. And it's just a little cuter. So this is Awesome Possum Goes to School. And I was talking about this book to my friend, Mike, the firefighter. And here he is. See, he's heading off to school. He's imagining how fun it's going to be at school. Awesome Possum. So there he is. Here he is getting dressed. And he's getting ready for his big day. And let's see. He eats his breakfast and drinks his juice. He wonders if his teacher is going to be Miss Moose. There's Miss Moose right there. Check that out. There you go.
You need to put something else in there. He seeks out trailers. Because twice in my life I lived in trailers, and each time I had a possum get in the trailer.
Oh, really? No, actually, yeah, I am gonna add something to the book, which is something that Mike, the firefighter, who was on the program, called in one day, a couple programs ago. Great guy. He's a great guy. Has a great perspective, and I hope he calls in again sometime. But I was talking about the Awesome Possum Goes to School book, and he made a comment, and I'm going to add this to the book where he does the Pledge of Allegiance, and I just didn't have that in there. I wrote this book back in 2003. This is how long it's taken me to kind of get the time to put together, to sketch it out and draw it up. And of course, I was getting ready to publish this book, but then I redesigned the character. I got to redo all the art, so it's kind of sad, but I
had a close encounter with the Awesome Possum.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They're pretty crafty.
One morning I woke up. One Sunday morning I woke up early, and I don't know what made me wake up. I felt like I was being watched. I lifted up my head and turned around, and a foot away from me was a big possum looking back at me.
Oh wow!
And we just kind of looked at each other, and he or she, I don't know, big. It's pretty big, so it's probably a she. Just turned around and just kind of waddled off. And I don't actually, don't know how that possum ever got in there, but like I said, the only 2 times I lived in a trailer in my life that I had possums in it.
Okay.
And one time I had to rescue my neighbor because a raccoon had gotten into her trailer.
Wow.
And her cat was freaking out. So she calls me over and says, "Hey, can you help me?" And I went in there and says, "Well, what do you think's in here?" She says, "I don't know, but my cat won't go back into the bedroom." So I said, "Okay, let's go back in there." And she went back in there, and she's leaning over, looking in her claws, and I says, "Don't move a muscle." Says, why? Don't move. Now slowly, don't stand up. Just back out. Back out from where you're at. Because right above her was a raccoon stuck to the wall, like a foot above her, and it was just motionless.
Wow, that's wild.
And like we couldn't figure out how this thing got in her trailer, so we had to search the whole trailer.
Sure.
And it turns out right next to this is common in trailers. If you've lived in one, that a lot of air leaks through.
Oh yeah.
Around the bathtub.
Oh yeah.
And there's a good reason, because there was a big gaping hole next to the trailer, next to the back of the tub.
Okay.
I mean, that was quite frightening,
Mm-hmm.
And so she would start banging on things, and the raccoon ran out. The hole came in.
Okay.
Then she had to figure out how to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
I've had lots of interesting encounters with wild animals.
Wow. Well, Awesome Possum he's a kind of friendly kind of a guy. So he's not
This was friendly.
He won't be scaring you.
They're capable of defending themselves, and they're quite dangerous if you threaten them.
Sure, of course.
I mean, they can tear you up.
Yeah.
But it was never any indication that the possum was so inclined at all. It just looked at me, and we kind of had a meeting of the minds, and it walked off, and I never quite figured out how it actually got in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I turned the light on out in the backyard to look at the dogs out there about a couple weeks ago. I turned the light on. It was dark out there. I turned the light on. It's like a floodlight. And I see Finn, the male dog, kind of walking, jaunting along towards the back of the yard next to his new buddy, this giant possum, who's almost as big as the dog. And they're like best buddies. It's like, what's going on out there? And I got to say something in the chat here. Jacob Waters said, Aaron, I had to let you know, we mentioned you on our show the other day. We were talking about getting married in Vegas and having an Elvis type wedding. I'm like, I know a guy who has to do the wedding. That's interesting because when I was living in Minnesota, I worked for this Elvis, I worked for Hollywood Images. And so I was one of their 13 Elvises, but I got like 90% of their work. And I got a call once from the Mall of America. And there was this place called, I think it was like the Chapel of Love. I think that's what it was, the Chapel of Love. I'm not sure if it's still there, but at the Mall of America. And so the owner of the Chapel of Love, this woman, so in the magazine, there's a picture of her, talking, and I'm right behind her in my gold lame suit singing like Elvis. Is pretty cool. So that was very, very cool. I did it.
Is it the Mall of America? Isn't that the thing that's got like 900 stores?
Yeah, it's atrocious. Yeah, it's the second biggest mall in the world, next to the one in Edmonton, Alberta, which I've been to. It's a very big mall. They're very ugly too.
Oh.
They're not very well designed.
Really?
They look okay on the inside, but I don't know. They're industrial. I don't know.
How do you see any of it? I mean, if there's that many stores, I guess you can't see it all.
Yeah, there. You know what? At the Mall of America, there's a dollar store. And I talked to one of the guys working there. I said, man, how do you guys do it? How do you guys do it? I mean, it's like 17 grand a month for rent. He goes,
oh, smokes.
We do it through zero customer service. They have to be selling constantly. Can you imagine that? Being on the hoof for 17 grand a month? But yeah.
I went to Chinese mall once.
Oh yeah?
The Chinese mall was unusual. Well, first of all, it's not like any mall here.
Yeah.
You go in there, and I kid you not, you don't have 6 inches between you in the entire mall.
Oh yeah.
It was so crowded, and they had this is disgusting. They had cats and dogs hanging from delicatessen things.
No, don't go there. No, we don't need to hear that. Oh God, that's
And
horrible.
then they had lab supply stores where you could buy lab glassware, chemicals, and whatever in the mall. Lots of unusual things in the mall that you would never expect because they don't have those kind of things in our malls.
It was very crowded though. Well, maybe they could use my idea over there. And that was the exact opposite of the Mall of America, the Small of America, where you have to shrink the people down to get them in there. There you go. So then you can have much more space in a smaller space. There you go. All you got to do is figure out how to shrink stuff and you could have the Small of America. That's my answer to that. Yeah. So yeah, you know what? Someone wanted to have me marry them years ago, and something happened. I don't think they ended up getting married, or it was early planning stages, but they wanted to do it on a ship, on a boat, because then the Elvis impersonator can be named temporary captain. And when you're on a boat, the captain of the ship can marry you. So there you go. There's a plan. That could be a plan.
It's a love boat.
The Love Boat, yeah. What a show. What a show. Of course, now if they did the Love Boat, they'd be all getting sick, right? They always get sick on they think that's what you hear mostly is people getting sick on cruises, right?
Yeah, they'd all go to Fantasy Island. Deplane.
Yeah, they're all sitting around in their Corinthian leather, watching that stuff go by. Yeah. Oh, Where the Winds Sleep by Neil P. Rezick. Had beautiful pen and ink drawings of lunar colony cities. Austin Morris is talking about. You know what? When I was in junior high, back when they had junior high, none of this middle school stuff. I had a science teacher, and I created like a moon colony with clear bubbles, like domes. And I made like the surface of the moon, and everything was all connected by tubes. And she was pretty impressed. The Truth Boat, your destination for streaming fun. There you go. Married in a Canoe. Can you canoe? Cool, Aaron. Thank you, Abby. That's maritime law. Yes, Terry. I think it is. I can become ordained online. Oh my goodness. I don't know. You know, I have a cousin who is a Lutheran minister. Are they called ministers or pastor?
Yeah. Either way.
Louis Pastor. Yeah. Pat. And you know, it's really interesting. Pat Shebek. So he's got a church over there in St. Paul, Minnesota. And what's funny is when maybe it's not funny, but it's very interesting. Back in the early 80s, there was a recession going on, and a lot of people were out of work. And I ended up taking a state-created job where I worked at Alice Smith Elementary School in the latchkey program, the daycare, which was in the school. And so, and you really need people there because the kindergartners, you know, they're only half day, but then the rest of the day they have to be watched. So, so I get there, and all of a sudden I look at the kids in the classroom, and one of the kids is my cousin Pat Shebek, who's now a Lutheran minister. So that was interesting. Yeah. And the school, the Alice Smith Elementary School, was right next to the church where he went. So him and his family. Very interesting. And his mom is named Laree, Laree, which I always thought was a beautiful name. And when I wanted to name my daughter Laree, I told her, I said, I want to name my daughter after you. She goes, oh, don't do it. Don't do it. I said, what? She goes, she'll be spelling her name forever. Everyone will call her Lori. Like, oh, okay. I still think it's a pretty.
Any update?
Any what?
Any updates as to when Corey or Andrew are coming on your show, or do you know anything yet?
Let me check my inbox here. Red Pill 78. Amazing Polly. Nope.
Didn't Amazing Polly, didn't she at one time talk about leaving? And
She was on Quite Frankly recently, twice. That's the only other show she's ever been on.
I wonder if maybe I'm thinking somebody different. There was someone that was really had all kinds of great information, and she was talking about shutting down. I thought it was Amazing Polly, but maybe it was somebody else.
Yeah. She was thinking about quitting, I think, or she was very dismayed. She does, because she does deep dives, and it's kind of depressing, the stuff she finds. So sometimes she just has to.
Really good. She's really good at it, though.
Oh man, yeah, she really does. You know, she did that expose on the Event 201, which that's what got her show cut off of YouTube, I believe.
What was Event 201? I can't remember.
Austin Morris says, only Corey or Andrew could answer questions I have, if anyone can. Oh, yeah, what's your questions, Austin? Okay, Mr. Ruzik. Actually patented several inventions created especially for use by the moon colony. I keep wondering if the keys in the secret space program somewhere, somewhen. Yeah, maybe. You never know. Could be. Yeah, there's so many things that we've been kept from. We need to so
The bearing is going out of my fan.
Yeah.
It's starting to rattle.
You know, there's a great song that I always think about on Fridays, and that's a song by Eddie Cochran called Weekend. Look it up. You're going to love it. Friday night and everything's right for the weekend. Crazy clothes and anything goes on the weekend. There you go. It's a great song. And so you'll like it. It's very fun. It's a fun, I like music from the 50s because it just brings you back to simpler times when men were men and women were women and everything was groovy.
Has anybody else been experiencing these outages of internet service and everything else?
Oh, yeah.
Because I had all day the internet was going on in and out, and the phone service was going in and out.
Really?
And TV was going in and out. And I just wondered if anybody else is experiencing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internet was down for
TGIF.
I don't know,
6
3
hours.
hours.
6 hours the other day. Facebook was anyway. But yeah, you got some more power outages. I have spotty service too. So if there's anything wrong with the show, I'm sorry about that.
And I wonder, of course, is this Is this what we were told about in the drops, or
Could be
or
that the
this
10 days of
different?
10 days of darkness.
Right?
Could be. Hmm.
And do you know any idea where this idea of Red October comes from? I mean, is there actually a drop that says something about Red October? Or?
You know what's weird? Because Red October wasn't a Sean Connery submarine movie, right?
Right.
Now there was just a submarine off of Indonesia, I believe, that went missing for 3 days, and they found it like 800 feet below the water, torn apart into three pieces, just ripped apart.
Uh-huh. Well, you heard the USS Connecticut, a nuclear submarine, just collided with something underwater, and they don't know what they collided with.
Really?
They have no idea what they hit.
I think I know what it is. I think I know what tore up that sub.
It was in the South China Sea.
Well, I think I know.
What was it?
It was Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Yeah.
Godzilla.
Yep. Godzilla. It's the only answer. It's the only logical answer.
Or Mothra. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to post this picture of the supercubes up here. This is the supercubes. Friends, if you're wondering about the supercube, they're square super balls that I invented, and they're really only available from me, unless you want to come to Door County. There's a couple shops that still carry it up here. But here's Alex Krauss. He's the current world record holder. He was able to bounce his supercube at least a foot or more above the surface and catch it after the first bounce. He did it 15 times in a row. How many times can you do it? Make sure you film it, and you could be the new world record holder. Made in America, made of the bounciest substance on earth. It's really fantastic. Ask Dark Brain. He'll tell you. These things are crazy. So there you go. And there you have it. Oh, it's even got my phone number on there. How do you like that? So there it is. Supercubes, the unpredictable. Balls with.
And you could also buy a time machine with it, right?
There's only one time machine left. So they're on back order.
Did it come bundled with Supercubes?
Yeah. It's free time machine with a purchase of Supercubes. $25 for 6 Supercubes. The Supercube 6-pack. There it is. Supercube 6-pack. And they're the bounciest things. Pets love them. Kids love them. Everybody loves them. My granddaughter just loves them. She comes here and she goes and she gets a bunch of Supercubes and she brings them downstairs outside where the dogs are, and she throws them in the dog house, and the dogs go in the house and chase after them, and she giggles. She loves them. She just loves it. So if you're 2, you can even have fun with them. So there you go. But be careful. Do not play with them around traffic or cars. Please don't do it. And if one of your Supercubes bounces in the road, don't chase after it. Wait till it stops. Look both ways. Make sure you have parents with you. Okay. All right. We don't want anything bad happening to anybody.
Do you have a Supercube with catnip in it yet?
No, but cats and dogs love the Supercube. In fact, Carmel, rest her soul, she could throw the Supercubes and chase them herself. She just endlessly, she just entertain herself endlessly with those things. So it's great. That's the Supercubes. And yes, my invention, and my dad built the mold, and they're made here in America. So our balls have an edge. You never know where it's going to go. And it's the unpredictable. There you go. And they float, and they're the best eraser you ever used. Ages 3 and up. There you go. And there you have it. Supercubes. They're fantastic, even if I do say so myself. Good night, Jacob Waters. Hey, Silbor, how you doing? Dark Brain, bounciest stuff you've ever seen, no doubt. Yes, very, very bouncy. Godzilla did it.
Huh.
Well, Max, what do you think? We should tie a knot in this ourselves and put a bow on it and call it good night?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I was getting ready to bow out
Yeah.
because I'm suddenly very fatigued.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got to bring the dogs in too. All right, folks. Well, thank you for calling in, Max. I really appreciate that. And thank you to all the chatters over here in the chat room. Thank you, Divine Tiffany, Terry Hopper, Jacob Waters, Mud Rabbit, Dark Brain, Syllabore, Jerry, Terry, I think I said Terry, Austin. See if I caught everybody. Mud Rabbit, Abby, Laura, Divine Tiffany, all you guys. And thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure. Remember to keep your eyes open, keep your cameras and phones to the sky to take that picture so you can be on the Truth Quest. You can call in with your amazing accounts. And we'll see you next time out on the web. Until then, peace